It's a wink and a nod, and it's all meant to undermine the President of the United States. The military does not have a right to undermine the chief.
Hold on a second. In this country, you do get to undermine the President of the United States.
Not if you're in the military.
No.
He's the commander-in-chief.
If you are a member of Congress, you absolutely, in this country, have a free right to undermine the President of the United States. You know that, right?
The commander-in-chief.
That CNN host and liberal shill Abby Phillip flat out defending Democrats for telling the military to ignore President Trump as if open insubordination is some noble civic duty. Welcome to Nurk News. I'm Nurkish, and it looks like Democrats are testing how far they can push political theater before it becomes outright sabotage. Because every time their narratives collapse, establishment media steps in to patch the holes and hope people forget what was actually said on camera. Here's Scott Jennings breaking down the Democrats' mutiny-themed video in Slacking's bizarre attempt to justify it.
No illegal orders, none. They cannot identify a single illegal order. Now, this exchange with Slotkin continued. I want you to listen to Slotkin here. By the way, this person, Senator Slotkin, is often touted as a moderate and a smart person by the Democratic Party. Let's listen in.
Very murky when you look at what is an illegal order. And if you go into morally, ethically, that's a pretty tough thing to look at and say, how do I navigate this?
Look, if you're going back to Nuremberg, right, they told me to do it, that's why I murdered people, is not an excuse. If you look at popular culture, there's you watch, A Few Good Men, we have plenty of examples since World War II in Vietnam.
So when asked what illegal orders the president has given, Slotkin couldn't identify a single one, and then she justified her calls for mutiny in the military by citing Nuremberg and a Hollywood movie. Folks, these Democrats may not be living in reality. Their lack of connection to planet Earth is getting dangerous.
It's clear that the Democrats never expected Slotkin to admit that Trump hasn't issued a single illegal order. Their entire stunt depended on fear-mongering, and she accidentally snapped the narrative in half, which is why Democrats and liberal shills are now throwing hissy fits on air.
Okay, wrong answer.
Well,
I'm sorry, with all due respect, wrong answer. President of the United States, the commander-in-chief does have, Jonathan Lemire, wide latitude. Just does. And the Senate can take that up. But he has wide latitude on strikes. Ask Barack Obama and drone strikes. Ask George W. Bush and drone strikes. But where we know the president has said, I am going to give illegal orders to people in the military, is when he was on Air Force One, coming back, I forget where he was coming back from, but he said, I can send the Marines, I can send the Army, I can send the Air Force, I can send the Coast Guard into any city I want to control crime. And the courts can't do anything about it. That's illegal. It's just illegal. And so Democrats kind of need to, if the president has already said, I'm going to commit this illegal act, then I'm kind of surprised they don't have the answer when they go on a Sunday show for that.
Scarborough melts down because Slacking said the quiet part out loud, and Democrats can't have that. The moment she admitted Trump hasn't issued any illegal orders, the whole stunt blew up. So he screams wrong answer and pivots to fantasies just to keep the panic alive. This is frankly part of Democrats' MO at this point. Push vague symbolic gestures that change nothing, like redundant hate crime laws or renaming statues, then use that to rile people up and weaponize against their opponents. Now they're doing it with the military and their own inept senator exposed the game because she hilariously appears to be as clueless as she is corrupt.
So now they're going to feign outrage because Donald Trump responded to their words that do yield to insurrection? Please.
But the president has been...
Stop. No. And this is where I'm going to push back. Because what they are doing is trying to throw literally a grenade into the room. It goes off, and then they're going to claim outrage? They have no moral standing to claim outrage because they decided that they were going to be cute and put out a TikTok video trying to get likes, trying to demonstrate that they're tough enough to stand up to President Trump when Donald Trump is the commander-in-chief, not Mr. Crow, not Senator Slotkin. They are not the commander-in-chief. And like I said before, they would not tolerate any Republican launching any video like that when Barack Obama was president of the United States. You know it's true. I know it's true. Everybody knows it's true. But now they want to feign outrage and have everybody come and ask them how they feel. Man, stop. We're tired of the games and the charade. The American people are looking for real answers on energy, on immigration, on affordability, but they want to be cute. So yeah, I'm not going to give them any standing about, well, how do they feel? That's BS. They knew what they were doing. They created a political stunt to get a response. And they didn't like the response. In terms of what they're calling for is sedition. 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 Let me ask you a question. What are the penalties of sedition in the United States of America? What are they? The president's not calling for it, but they're the ones that started this foolishness. And I will grant you, this is a foolish political stunt created by people who are trying to get their name ID up, who are trying to demonstrate that somehow they're the standard bearers for our constitutional republic when their own words are in violation of our constitutional republic. You cannot have elected members. I don't care about your politics. This is not even a political deal anymore. You cannot have elected members tell our military men and women, tell the members of our intelligence community that you don't have to follow orders from the commander-in-chief. That is nuts. And as people who actually put the uniform on and serve this nation, they should know better. But they're playing politics. That's what...
You know, Democrats spent years excusing riots, arson, and attacks on police, while lecturing Republicans about protecting democracy. Now they push a mutiny-themed video and pretend to care about institutional norms. It's the same selective outrage they deploy with immigration, energy, or public safety. It's all symbolism and no substance. I mean, it's a little cliché to point out, but it's obvious the left would have called this treason if Republicans did it to Obama or Biden. And now it seems like Democrats might finally learn what it's like when the shoe is on the other foot.
Yeah, Audie, this appears to all stem from that video that Senator Kelly made with other Democratic lawmakers, urging service members to remember that they have a duty to disobey illegal orders. And the Department of Defense, which now calls itself the Department of War, they posted a statement on X saying that they have received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly. He was a captain when he retired from the U.S. Navy. And they said, importantly, that a thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions, which could include recall to active duty for court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. That is extremely serious. And the bottom half of their statement there, it also kind of gets at why they're doing this. They say that, quote, all service members are reminded that they have a legal obligation under the UCMJ to obey lawful orders and that orders are presumed to be lawful. And they said that a service member's personal philosophy does not justify or excuse the disobedience of an otherwise lawful order. So just to give viewers a sense of what this is all stemming from, here's a little bit of that clip from last week that really angered President Trump.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
Now, it's worth noting, though, that service members do have a duty to disobey illegal orders, and the lawmakers who have been in that video, they have said repeatedly that they were simply issuing a statement of the law. Of course, President Trump does not see it that way, and the Department of Defense now appears to be obliging him with this investigation into Senator Mark Kelly.
Despite what establishment media says, Hext isn't threatening anyone. He's enforcing discipline because Kelly is still under the UCMJ as a retired Navy captain. CNN pretends that's extreme, but it's basic accountability. I mean, Democrats create chaos with symbolic stunts and then panic when there are consequences. Hegs is just cleaning up the mess they made. But let me know what you think. Should Democrats face real consequences for urging military disobedience in a propaganda video? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out.